Hey, welcome to our Achievement Hunter series aimed at taming the Barrens gameplay achievements. The Darkmoon Faire version of our Achievement Hunter videos were well received, so we're back to force the Frenzy of Barrens achievements into submission. As we like to do things out of order, warriors get to go first. Let's get into it. This should be interesting. In today's video, we're covering the following 3 warrior achievements. It'll take more than that. Ultimately, to have 100 friendly minions survive damage on your turn, while playing as a warrior. Hardcor Rancor, to gain 14 armor with a single Rancor. And Gem Buddies, which requires us to use Bulk Up to create a 4th copy of the same minion in our hand. You can see that none of these requires that we win games to complete, so we can employ some unusual strategies to pull these off when it makes things more interesting or efficient. Just like last expansion, these achievements can only be completed on the ranked ladder, in duels, or in the arena. But duels and arena can provide alternative methods if you're missing a legendary or epic card for one of these. One quick side note before we hop into the achievements, there are timestamps for each achievement and deck codes for each deck mentioned in the description below if you'd like to skip to one you're looking for. Let's start with the one that I initially thought was ridiculously difficult to pull off in standard, but is actually pretty simple to complete. Hardcor Rancor. For some reason, when I first saw this, I thought you only got 1 armor for each minion killed, meaning you had to clear a completely full board with a single Rancor. If you're up for a challenge over in Wild, it is possible to gain 28 armor from a single Rancor. Actually, that's how we completed this achievement. Because I'm an idiot who's better at coming up with crazy deck combinations than reading the text on cards. Anyways, we'll look at that deck last. For those of you who don't jump to absurd misunderstandings like me, you'll realize that you only have to kill 7 minions with a Rancor to gain 14 armor. Cards like Lord Barov or Derailed Coaster make this much easier to set up. And since Rancor is an epic card you might not own, it is nice that you can pick it up in the Iron and Steel loot bucket during duels runs. For the standard ladder, one of the most efficient ways to complete the Rancor achievement is using this Rancor Rush Warrior deck. It uses one of the Rush Warrior decks that has become popular since the nerfs as a shell, but drops several of the spells and situational cards to slot in 2 copies of Rancor, Derailed Coaster, and Lord Barov. With so many minions in the deck, it's not difficult to summon a full board with Derailed Coaster and immediately follow it with a Rancor for an easy finish. But if your opponent drops a few minions and you've got a couple, Lord Barov can set up an impressive clear to knock this achievement out. Since Derailed Coaster is a rare, you can complete this pretty easily on a budget by just swapping all the legendaries that aren't part of the core set for other minions, ensuring that you can clear your own side of the board for swift completion. Now, if you're up for a real challenge, just for the heck of it, you could complete this challenge the way we did, with this Mad Rancor Warrior deck. It uses Emperor Thracian to discount Mad Summoner, Rancor, and either Sword and Board or Slam in hand so that you can flood the board with 1/1 imps and knock Mad Summoner down to 2 health, followed by a Rancor to gain 14. 28 armor. Yeah. One nice thing about doing it this way is that we got a ton of progress towards the Warlock What's Better Than 2 Imps achievement along the way, thanks to Mad Summoner. Yeah, let's move on. Next up is the simplest gameplay achievement for warriors. It'll take more than that. Honestly, if you just play a fair number of games with a warrior, you'll complete this one fairly quickly. Yes, the Frenzy package for warriors is a nice way to make progress towards this one, but if you're anything other than Smork Warrior, a couple value trades now and then will get this done. Actually, the Rush Warrior that served as the shell for our last deck is a pretty efficient way to get progress towards this one, as Crab Rider and Warmaul Challenger can get multiple points towards this per turn, and your buffed Rush minions can survive trades quite often. Now, if you're looking for a fun warrior deck with a bit of frenzy synergy going on to knock this out quickly, you might try our Rush Thune Warrior. It uses the ridiculous card draw available to Warrior to cycle through the deck like mad and gather the pieces of Cthulhu while still presenting a ton of pressure on board, often killing opponents before Cthulhu can come down, even though you drew towards him ridiculously quickly. It's a fun twist to try out, and we've got a gameplay highlight linked up above so you can see how it plays if you're interested. For this achievement, just have fun playing warrior decks, because it won't take more than that to knock this one out. For this last one, Gym Buddies, I thought it required you to use Bulk Up to copy a taunt so that you would have 4 copies of it in your hand. That's not an issue of misreading the achievement or cards, as I did with Hardcor Rancor, but rather, either the wording on this is wacky, or there was a bug that allowed us to complete this more easily, as you'll see an odd way we completed it from gameplay with a recommended deck in a moment. Taking the wording at face value, a good strategy for this one is to run 2 copies of just a couple taunts and use Bulk Up to make the 3rd and 4th copy of whichever one you draw 2 copies of first. That was the game plan with this bulky Blademaster deck. It runs Morshan Elite, Scrap Golem, and Talon Fordring as the only taunts. And you don't want to copy Talon with Bulk Up if you're working towards this achievement, but he's a great way to get Overlord Sourfang or your other taunts, so he still made the cut. What you'll notice from the gameplay when we got this achievement is that we copied a Morshan Elite with Bulk Up on a turn after we swung with the weapon, and even though it was only the 2nd copy of the Morshan Elite in our hand, we got credit for the achievement. This could be a bug counting the 2nd copy of Morshan Elite that's possible from his battle cry as the 3rd and 4th copies, or there could be something else going on. I'm honestly not sure, but it may still be possible to finish this far more simply than expected. Nevertheless, this same game we did manage to create a 4th copy of Morshan Elite in hand with Bulk Up, so even if it is a bug that has been fixed, you can still do it with this deck. And if you're wondering, the Youthful Brewmasters are in the deck to bounce Overlord Sourfang for even more card draw from the Anchorman or clear the board with Blademaster Samuro. But they can also bounce back the 2nd half of Morshan Elite into your hand if you're desperate for an extra taunt while you're waiting for your 2nd copy of Bulk Up or the taunt you're duplicating. And if you're looking for a bizarre deck to complete this one, you probably don't want to play Taunt Warrior, as there will be a lot of risk of duplicating a taunt you weren't aiming for. However, this bulked up N'Zoth deck we'll be experimenting with on stream later today, if you're watching this April 17th. Looks like it could be spicy. Nobody really needs 5 Scrapyard Colossus in a single game. The 5th would come from N'Zoth. But why not try it if they've got to stick around in your hand till you draw both copies of the taunts and bulk ups to complete this anyways? It probably won't win a lot, but it should be fun. And now you're bulked up with all kinds of knowledge to take down the warrior achievements. Good luck. And that's a wrap. If you found this helpful, drop a like. It'll help others find this video, because I think YouTube might have an obsession with having people press a button. Not sure, but maybe. Also, we'll be doing guides for the rest of the Forged in the Barrens achievements, so check back or subscribe, because we make interesting content. If you have any questions or suggestions, let me know in the comments. And if watching content live is your thing, check out our stream at twitch.tv/SSAlchemist. We currently stream on Saturdays and Sundays. And remember, you're awesome. Thank you for watching, and have an awesome day.
Strength and honor. This is who we are.